Hey, welcome back, guys. So today on this video, we're talking about Wells Fargo, and more specifically, I'm going to quickly answer a question I've been getting a lot recently on my other video, and that is, how do you cash a check in the Wells Fargo app? So let's go ahead and talk about this. First off, guys, this is going to be a really quick video, not too many steps involved, so be sure to stick around to the end of the video. But why would you want to cash a check into your Wells Fargo app? Well, that's pretty easy. Maybe one of your clients decided to write you a paper check every month, but you don't want to go to Wells Fargo to cash it in the branch. Whatever the case is, it's a pretty easy process. It's handled here in the Wells Fargo app. It's this yellow, red, and white app right here. Check my video description. I'll try to leave the written instructions there as well, but I'm going to open up my Wells Fargo app now. Okay, guys, I went ahead and opened up my Wells Fargo app. This is the home screen here. Now here on the home screen, if you want to cash a check or deposit a check into your Wells Fargo app, what you need to do is click on this deposit button down here on the bottom left. It looks like a little check with an arrow on the top of it. Okay, so once you click there, you're going to get the mobile deposit section of Wells Fargo, and the first thing you're going to need to do is enter the check amount. So I have this little refund check here that I'm going to deposit. So this one is for $15.61. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in right here. Okay, so I did type in 1561. Make sure that you use the decimals. Also, another thing you want to pay attention to is if you have a large check, there is a daily limit and a 30-day limit. So for my particular account, I can only deposit up to $5,000 per day with a maximum of $15,000 per month or 30 days. So obviously this check is much smaller than that, so that's going to work. Next, they do ask you to take a picture of the front of the check. Once you click on this button, Wells Fargo will open up your camera, and basically Wells Fargo is going to scan for the routing number and account number and the check number along with the amount for your check that you're cashing through Wells Fargo. Let me show you the check. Okay, so here is the check, and so you can see at the bottom it shows the check number, and then the routing number, and then the account number, which I've covered up. Also, it shows the amount right here. So I'm going to go ahead and scan the front of this check. Okay, so I'm going to click on front of check, this camera button here. Okay, so you can see Wells Fargo did open up the camera, and then they also opened up the flashlight on my camera. So I'm going to go ahead and scan this check now. Okay, I did scan the check. It's processing the image right now. Okay, so the check was processed, and as you can see, the image is right here of the front of the check. Now we're going to go ahead and click on the back of the check. But before you scan the back of the check, you want to go ahead and sign your check. Oftentimes you want to write if it's a mobile deposit. However, this check has it printed already, so I can go ahead and check there and then sign it. Okay, I went ahead and signed the check, and now we're going to go ahead and scan the back of this check. Okay, Wells Fargo does give you this information that you need to sign the back of the check, which we just talked about. Also, they ask you to write for mobile deposit at Wells Fargo only. I'm going to check that I don't need these instructions again, and we're going to go ahead and continue and scan the back of this check. Okay, now you can see the camera did open up, and they have this line right here. This is where you want to have the section where you sign the check when you take this image. So you can just line it up with your check. Okay, so I did sign and scan the back of the check. You can see the image shows up right here now. So if all that looks good and you'd still like to go ahead and cash this check into your Wells Fargo mobile deposit, just note that if you make the deposit before 9 p.m. Pacific on business days, they're saying that the check is usually available the next business day. So I'm actually recording this video on a Wednesday, and it's in the morning. So this money should be available in my account tomorrow, so Thursday. If all that looks good to you, go ahead and click on this black deposit button down here on the bottom right. Okay, next you get this confirmation screen saying that I deposited this check into Wells Fargo on this date at this time. It gives you a confirmation number along with which account this was deposited to. Now on the check itself, usually what you're going to want to do is go ahead and just write a note for yourself. And usually what I'll do is just put deposited, and then I'll put the date. You can write it on the back of the check. Sometimes I'll write it on the front of the check. It really depends on your preference. And this is just so you don't recash this check again. If it happens to be laying around and 1 year later you see that this check is in your house, you don't want to deposit it again because it will bounce. So there you have it, guys. If you're wondering how to cash a paper check into your Wells Fargo app, that is the easiest way I know how to do it. If you know an easier way, be sure to leave a comment below. Let the rest of us know how you did it. Hopefully you found that video useful. If so, click thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel, and I hope to see you on the next video. Thanks again for watching.